Hello, Mr. Coldiron's class. We are going to finish Deck the Halls. We're off the walls. The family in front of us had 6 annoying kids, 3 boys and 3 girls. None of them would sit still. They were all sticking their fingers in Santa's nose, poking him in the eye, and pulling on his beard. It took like 1,100,000 hours for Miss Hannah to take a picture of each kid. Then she had to take a picture of just the boys. Then she had to take a picture of just the girls. Then she had to take a family picture. I thought I was going to die from old age. But finally, the last little whining nerd got up from Santa's lap. It was our turn. "Okay, which one of you wants to go first?" asked Miss Ropey. "I'm scared of Santa, Emily," said Emily, who's scared of everything. "Me too," said Alexia. "So am I," said Andrea, Neil, Ryan, and Michael. I had just sung that dumb rap song in front of 1,100,000 screaming girls. I wasn't afraid of anything. "I'm not scared," I said. "I'll go first." This was going to be the greatest moment of my life. Chapter 10, My Turn. I stepped up on the platform where Santa was sitting and climbed on his lap. Miss Hannah told me to smile, and she snapped my picture. This is it. Everything I've ever done had been leading up to this moment. My life was now complete. If I suddenly dropped dead, at least I could say that I had met Santa. That is, if I hadn't dropped dead, because if you're dead, you can't talk. "Ho, ho, ho," Santa said as he handed me a candy cane and a coloring book. Phew, Santa has bad breath. "Say, little boy, your name isn't AJ by any chance, is it?" How did you know that?" I asked. "I'm Santa," Santa said. "I see when you're sleeping. I know when you're awake." "That's creepy," I said. "Do you have night vision goggles?" "Ha, ha, ha," laughed Santa. "No, but I know if you've been bad or good, AJ. Be good, for goodness sakes." Santa must have a GPS and state-of-the-art surveillance technology. I'm not sure, but I think that's an invasion of privacy. "So what do you want for Christmas, AJ?" Santa asked me. "I want the new Stryker Smith Commando," I said. "It comes with a missile launcher, voice activator, attack dog, and deluxe blow torch. All other accessories sold separately, batteries not included." "Stryker Smith," said Santa. "You mean the super action figure from the future who travels through time and fights off all who dare to thwart his destiny?" "Yes." Wow, Santa really knows his toys. "AJ, didn't I bring you a Stryker Smith action figure 2 Christmases ago?" Santa asked. "Yeah," I replied. "He fell under the school bus and his head came off." "And didn't I bring you another Stryker Smith action figure last Christmas?" "Yeah," I said. "He met his untimely end when his head got tragically melted in a battle with an evil magnifying glass." "I'm sorry to hear that," Santa said. "I hope you'll take better care of Stryker Smith this year." "I will, Santa." "Good. Merry Christmas, AJ. Ho, ho, ho." I looked out at the kids waiting in line. I wondered how Santa would remember which presents we all asked him for. "Are you going to write down that I asked for a Stryker Smith action figure?" I asked Santa. "That won't be necessary," he said. "How will you remember, Santa?" "My mind is like a steel trap," he told me. "You catch animals in your head?" I asked. "No, I mean I have a good memory," Santa told me. "That's how I remember what I bring you each year." Some of the parents in the crowd were looking at their watches. I guess my time was up. But this might be the only chance in my whole life I would get to talk to Santa. I didn't want to leave. "Can I ask you one question, Santa?" "Sure, AJ." I understand how reindeer fly, I said, but doesn't your sleigh need wings on each side for stability? The Christmas spirit lifts it up, Santa said. Yeah, but the sleigh doesn't look very aerodynamic, I told him. Why not use a helicopter instead? I thought you had just one question, Santa said. How is it possible to visit every house in the world in one night? I asked. How about the houses that don't have chimneys? What about people who live in apartments? How do you fit all the toys in your sleigh? And what do you do the rest of the year? We have to wrap this up, AJ, said Santa. There's a lot of children waiting. You should really lose some weight, I told him. Obesity is a big problem these days. Have you checked your cholesterol? Is it cold in the North Pole? Is there a supermarket up there? Where do you buy your groceries? Have you considered relocating to a warmer climate? Do the reindeers ever poop on people's heads? Time's up, kid, one of the parents shouted. Let's move it along, okay? I got up from Santa's lap, but as I was doing that, my itchy sweater, Christmas sweater, must have caught on Santa, because that's when the strangest thing in the world happened. His beard came off. Chapter 11, The Kid Who Ruined Christmas. Everybody gasped. Hey, I said, you're not the real Santa. You're just some guy dressed up like Santa. Santa mumbled. The fake Santa guy looked really familiar to me. I knew I'd seen him somewhere before. So I picked his Santa cat hat up off his head. And you'll never believe, in 1,000,000 years, what was under there. Nothing. The guy was completely bald, just like Mr. Klutz, the principal of my school. In fact, the fake Santa guy was Mr. Klutz. Mr. Klutz, I shouted, what are you doing here? Earning a little extra money over the holidays, he replied. I knew I was in trouble as soon as people saw Santa wasn't the real Santa, but I had no idea how much trouble I was in. Eek, some girl shouted. Santa has no hair. He's a fake, a boy yelled. Mommy, screamed another girl, you told me this was the real Santa Claus. You lied. All the little kids in line started yelling and screaming, crying and freaking out. Their parents were upset too. We've been waiting in this line for an hour, a lady shouted, and now this? It's that kid's fault, yelled one dad, pointing his finger at me. He ruined Christmas for my son. He ruined Christmas for everyone. I thought I was going to die. Mr. Klutz looked scared. He got up quickly and put a sign in his seat that said, Santa has gone to feed his reindeer. He'll be back soon. I'd better get out of here, he told me. AJ, what do you have to say for yourself? I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I had to think fast. Peace on earth, goodwill to men, I said. Get him, somebody shouted. Get that kid who ruined Christmas. Bummer in the winter. That was the only thing I could do. Run. Chapter 12, The True Meaning of Christmas. This was the worst thing to happen since TV turnoff week. I wanted to go to Antarctica and live with the penguins. I jumped off the little platform to make a run for it, but I slipped on some fake snow and knocked over the Christmas tree. It landed on top of me. As I was scrambling to get up, excuse me, my foot got tangled in a string of Christmas lights. When I yanked it, sparks started flying. This must have spooked the reindeer in the petting zoo, because one of them broke out at the gate and started running in crazy circles. Run for your life, shouted Neil, the nude kid. The reindeer is on the loose. Watch out for those antlers, the lady screamed. It's heading for the food court, somebody shouted. I finally got to my feet, and a bunch of angry parents started chasing me. "Get him," one of the dads shouted. "Get that kid." I bolted out of there. Crowds of people were all over the place. I had to run around them like a football player to escape the angry parents chasing me. I bumped into some lady and she fell into a fountain. "Help," I shouted. "They're going to kill me." I ran up the down escalator, and then I ran down the up escalator, but I didn't travel through time. The parents were still chasing me. I couldn't lose them. At the other end of the mall, I spotted the men's bathroom. Maybe I could hide in a stall, I figured. It was my only hope. I ran over there and ducked inside the bathroom. I was panting and gasping for breath. You'll never believe who was in there, combing his hair in the mirror. "Crazy." "Dude," he said, "what's the matter? You look like you've been through a war." I put my hand on his shoulder and looked at him in the eye. "You've got to help me," I begged. I was sitting on Santa's lap and I accidentally pulled off his beard. The kids who were waiting in line freaked out, and now their parents are trying to get me. What should I do? "Quick," Crazy said. "Let's switch clothes again." "Huh?" "Just do it." I tore off my itchy Christmas sweater and gave it to Crazy. He tore off his clothes and gave them to me. "Now get out of here," Crazy said, "and act casual." I whistled as I strolled out of the bathroom, because if you're whistling, nobody thinks you did anything wrong. It's the first rule of being a kid. A bunch of angry parents were milling around looking all over. None of them noticed me. I thought I was in the clear. But that's when the most amazing thing in the history of the world happened. An announcement came over the public address system. Well, that's not the amazing part, because announcements come over the public address system all the time. The amazing part was what happened next. "Attention shoppers, it's 2 o'clock. The young pop sensation Crazy is about to do some more Christmas wrapping on the main stage near the big tree. Come see him perform." Suddenly, Officer Spence came rolling over to me on a Segway. "We've been looking all over for you, Mr. Z," he said. "Come on. Everybody's waiting." "Huh? What? Who? Me? Again?" I asked. Officer Spence pulled me up on the Segway and rolled over to the stage. "Yo, Z," said the guitar player, "let's rock, man." There must have been 1,100,000 girls in the audience now. Some of them were trying to climb on the stage, but the police were holding them back. That guy with the jacket and tie climbed up and took the microphone. "Okay, boys and girls, here he is again, the latest, the greatest, Crazy." The girls started screaming. The band started playing. I had no choice. So I started rapping. 'Twas the night before Christmas, you know the rest. Stuff was all over, the house was a mess. I was dreaming of a Christmas white. It was totally silent night. That's when I heard a crash and a boom, so I ran right down to the living room. There was this guy dressed all in black, and over his shoulder he carried a sack. I took one look at him and said, "Whoa, man, I know you're not Frosty the Snowman." "Who are you?" I asked, after a pause. "You sure don't look like Santa Claus." He said, "My name's Klepto. I'm from the South Pole." I grab all your presents. That's how I roll. On Christmas Eve, I go around the world and steal all the presents from the boys and the girls. He went to the corner and got down on one knee to scoop up the gifts that were under our tree. He took them all. He grabbed my new toys. He took my new clothes. He took all our joy. To the Christmas klepto, everything was free. I'll take your partridge and your pear tree. I like your presents, and now they're mine. Say, how much of this stuff did you buy online? You better watch out. You better not cry. You make one peep, and I'll poke out your eye. "You're a mean man, sir," I said with a hiss. "Just wait till Santa finds out about this." That Mr. Klepto thought he was a smarty, but in the end, we spoiled his party. Sure, the guy had lots of charm until he tripped over our silent alarm. A few minutes later, the cops arrived. Mr. Klepto, under the couch he dived. The cop yelled, "Come out with your hands in the air." "I was framed," he shouted. "This ain't fair." The cop said, "Now don't you try anything violent. All you have is the right to remain silent." They dragged him away and he said bye-bye, and that was the last I heard of that guy. Now all the stuff that I've been rapping, you may say that none of that happened. After all, nobody came and stole your stuff, nobody broke in, nobody got rough. Well, the reason that you got nothing to fear is because they put Klepto away for 10 years. So you can believe what you want to believe, but that's what happened on Christmas Eve. "Let's hear it for Crazy," said the guy with the jacket and the hat. The girls went nuts, screaming and yelling and freaking out. I jumped off the stage and ran back to the men's room. Crazy was in there, waiting for me. "You saved my life," I told him. "Now we're even, dude." Crazy and I switched back into our normal clothes, shook hands, and said goodbye. As I was about to walk away, I came up with the greatest idea in the history of the world. "Hey, Crazy, I need to get a Christmas present for my sister. Can you give me an autograph?" "Sure, dude," he said. Jay-Z took off his hat, pulled a Sharpie from his pocket, signed the hat, and handed it to me. "You know, sometimes I wish I was in your shoes." "Why? What's wrong with your shoes?" "No, what I mean is that the grass is always greener on the other side." "Huh? What does the color of grass have to do with anything?" This Crazy kid was weird. Who cares about shoes and grass? But as I walked away, I started thinking about what Crazy said. Christmas isn't about malls and elves and trees and presents. It's about being a good person. It's about helping a guy out when he's in trouble. Crazy needed my help, so I helped him. Then I needed his help, and he helped me. Christmas is a time for giving. That's the true meaning of Christmas. Who knows, maybe I'll become great Crazy stunt double. Maybe Santa will bring me the new Stryker Smith Commando action figure with the missile launcher, the voice activator, attack dog, and deluxe blowtorch. Maybe another song will get stuck in my head. Maybe the real Santa will come to the mall next Christmas. Maybe they'll pay the teachers more money so they don't have to dress up like elves. Maybe I'll travel back in time on an escalator. Maybe Santa will get some breath mints. Maybe I won't have to wear my itchy Christmas sweater next year. Maybe I'll get to eat some of those giant nuts. Maybe Santa will be arrested for invading people's privacy. Maybe Mr. Clutch will catch animals with his head. Maybe Santa will ditch his sleigh and switch to a helicopter. Maybe Andrea and Emily will bring peace and harmony to kids all over the world. But it won't be easy. The end.